Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. I'm doing a double today because I have some time. But this video is going to be about not walking in the counsel of the ungodly. Okay? And in Psalms 26, 4 through 7, this is from the Passion Translation, which I don't really use, but I like the way, it's been translated. And, I compared versions to the TS 2009. It's basically the same thing. But it says, "Do not walk in the counsel of the ungodly, for bad company corrupts good morals. Walk with the wise." Okay? I believe that's how I started it out, was not to walk with ungodly people. And when you keep company with ungodly people, then their bad company will corrupt your good morals. More than likely, you will be influenced, okay, and tempted to sin, brothers and sisters. Okay? So, in Psalms 26, 4 through 7, it says, "I won't keep company with tricky, two-faced men, nor will I go the way of those with hidden motives. I despise the sinners' hangouts. You won't find me walking with the wicked. When I come to your altar, Yahweh, I'll be clean before you, approaching with songs of thanksgiving, singing songs of your mighty miracles." Okay? And so, we're not to keep company with faithless people. Okay? With those that we know from their fruits, because their fruits will show, okay? If they're not walking in the ways of Yah, the way Yeshua walked, then we're to stay away from those people. And I know, it can be hard because, we've, a lot of us have family, friends. But brothers and sisters, if you're walking in the narrow path, your family and friends might be there, but are they truly your family? Like, by blood? Yes. Remember the words of Yeshua when his mother and his brothers came looking for him, and they were worried about him. And someone went and told Yeshua, "Your mother and your brother's here, and they've been looking for you." And, more or less along those lines, you can go back and read it. Yeshua told him, "Who is my mother and who is my father? Or who are my brothers and my sisters?" It says, "It's those who do the will of my Father." Okay? So, if the people you're hanging around with are not keeping the will of the Father, which is to walk in his laws and commandments in righteousness, which means holiness, okay, then we are not to be associating with them. Okay? Now, I understand sometimes it could be parents that are in error. It could be the children that are in error. And the Bible also states that those in your household will also become your enemies. Okay? Yeshua said, "I didn't come to bring peace, but a sword." Okay? So, that should tell us that it's when we surrender our hearts and our lives to walking in righteousness, there is going to be a barrier there. There's going to be tension. There's going to be uh, bitterness, anger, persecution, okay? When you try and walk in holiness, okay? But we don't want to end up committing sin, because that's more than likely what will happen. You have to stand strong. And not only that, Scripture also tells us in Psalms 101, verse 3, that you shouldn't set a vile thing before Yah. So if you walk into someone's house and they have abominations in there, excuse me, Christmas tree, Buddhas, what have you, okay? Scripture says, and I'll read it to you, I will set no vile thing before my eyes. Before my eyes. I hate the deeds of faithless men. Okay? It says, they will not cling to me. That's what it says, before your eyes. Same thing, you don't want to, you don't want to set anything vile before Yah. Okay? And in the TS 2009, I believe that was the WEB, W-E-B, U-S, which I don't remember what it stands for. I think it's the World Edition something. But in the TS 2009, it says, I set no matter of Belial before my eyes. I hate the work of those who fall away. It does not cleave to me. Okay? So, we're not to put anything before us that's an abomination. Okay? It should just make your skin crawl. Like, whenever I see something that I don't want to see, that's wicked, it makes me cringe. Okay? And that's the way it should make all of us feel, like, have nothing to do with evil. Okay? In Psalms 1, verse 1, this is from the KJV, it says, Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. So blessed is the man that doesn't walk or sit with the counsel of the ungodly. Okay? So we're not to sit with the sinners and, hang out with them and all of this stuff, because what does the light have to do with darkness? We don't mix the two, okay? And yes, Yeshua sat with sinners, but he didn't sit with sinners to become like them. He sat with the sinners because they're the ones that needed a physician. Remember what he said? He said it's not those that are healthy that need a physician, it's the ones that are sick. It was the sinners, okay? So, when we come to the faith in Yeshua Messiah and surrender our hearts and make that vow that we're going to continue to walk in the straight and narrow way, well, that means, we have to stand firm, brothers and sisters, and not take counsel from the ungodly either. Remember that we're supposed to be equally yoked, not unequally yoked, okay? There's a reason why we shouldn't be doing this, okay? Because it's kind of like, it came to my mind, when someone gets in trouble and they happen to have controlled substances in the car, um, and then you happen to be there with them, just because that's not yours, but you're in the car with the person that's the owner of that, of those things, okay, then that makes you an accomplice. You're going to be just as guilty. All right? So, and another thing is, if you're walking in holiness and that person isn't, then you two are going to clash. It's going to happen. Okay? Because you are going two totally separate ways. Okay, so just remember that, we are not to walk with those kinds of people. Yeshua even said, don't even pray for these people. I mean, I do pray for people, but, we are to be there and plant the seed, but, there's a reason why Scripture tells us, brothers and sisters, not to desire their company. Okay? Proverbs 24, 1-2 says, don't envy evil people or desire their company, for their hearts plot violence. We don't want that. We don't want to associate with people with wicked, evil hearts. Okay? And yes, Scripture does say that our hearts are wicked and who can know it, but that is not an excuse to go hang out with people that are not equally yoked. Okay? Because I've had people that they're just foreigners. Okay? You become a foreigner to them, and they're foreigners to you because you're no longer doing those things that you did at one time. And so it feels you shouldn't even have that desire to want to hang out with people like this. If it's going to cause you to sin, then don't do it, brothers and sisters. Because, then you're the one that's going to be in trouble, okay, also, with Yah. So, don't envy people, evil people, okay, because judgment is coming for them. Or desire their company. Use your discernment, the spirit of discernment that Yah has given you. We should already know right from wrong. If you have the Spirit indwelling in you of the Father, then you should know right from wrong. Their fruits, you will know them by their fruits. Okay? Stay away, lest it causes you to sin. It says, again, for their hearts plot violence and their words always stir up trouble. So if you're with someone that likes to gossip, well, you know what? People that like to gossip, it stirs up trouble. And so tells so-and-so what he said, she said, and then it just causes a big mess. And you're right in the middle of it. Okay? And I've been in that situation where you're caught in the middle of it, or you're always upset at that person because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're in sin and they don't listen. Well, it's probably best you need to take a step back, brothers and sisters, and keep your distance. Okay? Because you don't want to be held liable for their sins. Now, Proverbs 27:6 says, this is from the NKJV, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. So, I really like that verse, and I've used it before. So you may be hurt by a friend that tells you the truth, okay? Versus the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Someone that just wants to tell you sweet nothings just to butter you up, okay? Or to make you feel better. So they're going to basically make you feel better by telling you lies and not being honest with you. Or they're envious of you, so they're just going to, they're going to deceive you in some way, because really they don't want you to get ahead. Or they are envying your walk with the Most High. I mean, it could be a number of things, okay? But you'd rather be wounded by a faithful friend, an honest friend, that's going to tell you the truth, but even if it hurts, okay, than having someone deceive you with sweet nothings and kisses and, that later on will kick you in the behind. You know what I mean? And in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 11, in the CJB, okay, that's I can't remember the name, but it's the Jewish version in Scripture, the CJB. It says, "No, what I wrote you was not to associate with anyone who is supposedly a brother, but who also engages in sexual immorality, is greedy, worships idols, is abusive, gets drunk, or steals. With such a person you shouldn't even eat." So I'm here to remind you again, brothers and sisters, we are not to associate with anyone, okay? Especially those that don't want anything to do with the Torah, because there's a lot of people out there that claim they follow Yeshua, but what does Scripture say? It says, if you claim to follow Yeshua, okay, if you claim to, I believe it says, if you claim to know him, but you don't follow the commandments, then that person is a liar. Okay? So, we are to stay away and not associate with anyone. And it says here, who is supposedly a brother. That means a brother or a sister in Messiah Yeshua. Not a brother. The world isn't our brothers and sisters. Okay? It's those in the body of Messiah. Okay? So if they're engaging in any type of sin, first of all, you need to make sure that you let them know that they're in sin, that they shouldn't be doing that. Okay? But if you've already told them and they continue in it, then you need to take a step back, brothers and sisters. Okay? Lest you fall into sin as well. You become like an accomplice. Okay? So we're not even supposed to be eating with such people. Okay? So, with my children, I love them dearly. I don't really hang out with them. They are not in the same boat. Not like my husband and then my youngest daughter and myself. We're all walking in the Torah, okay? In the ways of Yah. We're praying for the rest of our family. They're not there yet. Now, I'm not gonna cut them off. I'm going to be there for them regardless. No matter what, I'm going to be there for them. They're my children. And Yah says he's going to save our children. It says that in scripture. I have hope for them. Okay? But my husband and I have let them know where we stand. And they have to respect that. I respect them as my children, as human beings. I know their time will come when their eyes will open, but I'm not gonna, like I told one of my daughters, I'm not going to go over there and help you put up your Christmas tree. I mean, she knows better, okay? If it's something that goes against my faith, it's not going to happen. So they do their thing and we do ours. But we still love them. And that's okay. Okay? So stand your ground, brothers and sisters. Okay? Now, as far as the rest of the world, the rest of the family, the rest of, friends, what have you, I'm okay with separating myself from them. I'm okay with that. In fact, I even told my kids, if it means having to separate ourselves, then so be it. I don't want that. I love them so much. But I'm not gonna profane what Yah has commanded. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna conform, in other words. My husband and I will not conform just because, we move back or we're on good terms or whatever. Doesn't mean that, okay, now we're just going to go back to the way we were. No. And I let them know it. So I stand my ground and they respect that and I respect them, and we're just going to keep it that way. But I'm talking about if you're basically hanging around a brother or sister in Messiah that's doing wicked and evil things, and they know they're not supposed to be doing it. Okay? They're already supposedly professing believers. Okay? There's a difference because, like my children, they don't profess to be following and with in the ways of Yah. They're not Torah observant. They're not saved. Although one of my daughters did say one day, well, I believe in God. Well, so do the demons. Okay? I'm talking about a brother or sister that's already made that vow to walk in Yah's ways, but they're doing these things. Like I said, one, you need to confront them about it. And if they don't listen, there's a verse in there. And I don't have it here in front of me. Then you get the elder, one of the elders of the church, of the assembly, which we don't go to a church anymore. And if they still don't listen, or someone like, I'm sure there's a pastor that you listen to. And if they still don't listen, that's it. I think in Titus, it tells us if they're decisive, or I have to read. I'm sure I've read it to you in the past. In other words, you tell them once, you tell them twice, and they're being decisive or divisive or something like that. It says then have nothing more to do with them. That's it. And I'll find it. So 1 Corinthians 15:33 in the TLV says, do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals. And I believe I said that at the beginning. Okay? So you're hanging out with bad company, more than likely, it's going to corrupt the person, or it's going to corrupt you and your good morals that you're trying so hard to keep and to walk the narrow way, but yet you're hanging out with that person. Well, you're going to be influenced. You're going to end up falling into sin. It's just best to stay away. Okay? It's kind of like a drunkard. I mean, someone that's an addict. You know, if they've been sober for quite some time and you're drinking around them, you're going to cause them to stumble. Okay? We do not cause our brothers and sisters to stumble so that they will fall into sin. We don't do that. Okay? It says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership is there between righteousness and lawlessness? Or what fellowship does light have with darkness? So, you cannot have a healthy relationship, okay, especially one with the Most High, okay? If you're hanging around with people that are doing vile things, okay? So that's all I wanted to tell you. Let me look for that verse in Titus. Okay, brothers and sisters. So it's Titus 3, chapter 3, verse 10. It says, warn a divisive person once. Okay, those that are causing division. And then warn them a second time. After that, have nothing to do with them. So if you've already tried, okay, I've dealt with this with a past family member, okay, in the past, and I would forgive. I mean, you should always forgive, but I would forgive, and then it would happen all over again, over and over and over, like they just didn't get it. And, I'd have to rebuke them, And when you rebuke someone, it is warning them in love. That doesn't mean you have to be mean about it. You can be assertive without being aggressive, We shouldn't be aggressive. We should be humble, but be assertive, okay? So, if people are causing division in the family, or in your own relationship with that person, and it's just always arguments and bickering, and they want to gossip, and that should tell you already, brothers and sisters, that's enough. Okay, so I just wanted to share this verse with you, and to not walk again in the counsel of the ungodly. So, I believe that's it, brothers and sisters. I hope that these messages bless you, edify you, and, if you're unsure of something, please take it to the Father in prayer. And I'll come back and do another video. I believe I'm going to be making a video regarding Ephraim coming home. Our pastor did a sermon on that, and I think it's just wonderful. There was quite a few verses in there. I mean, there was something about it that opened up my eyes, and I'll have to share all that with you. So I'll be back. Okay, but until then, I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. I guess, let's see. That's it, brothers and sisters. I have so many verses in here that I've highlighted in my Bible app. I just want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. Anyway, all right. Well, I hope everyone has a blessed rest of your week, and I just hope that everyone's, you know, is doing well. Please pray for our brothers and sisters across the globe. There's many out there going through a lot right now. Some homeless, and they need prayer. Okay? So, I love you all, and until next time, shalom.